So why are so many Arsenal fans on YouTube so angry? This is an exploration of bitterness, psychology and tribalism in the online Arsenal fan community. So the Arsenal YouTube community is one of the most active and passionate and polarised fan spaces in world football. Channels like AFTV, The Gooner Talk, countless solo creators and reactors. Arsenal's online presence is massive. Yet this passionate community is often marked by intense negativity. Rage at the manager, fury at the board, sniping between content creators, and an open contempt for fellow fans is common. So in this video, I'm going to examine why the anger is so prevalent in the Arsenal YouTube scene, explore the psychology of the bitter fan, you know the one I mean, the one who's constantly complaining, always finding fault, and lashes out at others. What drives this behaviour? What do these fans have in common? And more importantly, is there a better way to interact with them? And can they change? So the context, I think, is important. Arsenal's recent history. Understanding the emotional temperature of the Arsenal YouTube community does require this context. For over 2 decades, Arsenal have existed in a kind of purgatory. After the move to the Emirates Stadium in 2006, fans were promised trophies and dominance, or at least they feel they were. What followed instead was financial restraint, aiming to finish in the top 4 rather than win trophies, the sale of all of our beloved stars, long trophy droughts. When Arsene Wenger, a once revered figure, seemed to lose his magic touch, the fan base fractured. Some wanted to protect his legacy, others demanded his head. Post-Wenger, the club entered a chaotic period with nothing quite going right, inconsistent signings and continued poor performances. Enter YouTube. Toward the end of the Wenger period, fan channels like AFTV exploded. At first, they were platforms. They sort of provided a space for raw, authentic fan expression, sort you get at stadiums. But soon, rage became currency. Anger gets views. Meltdowns go viral. Negativity becomes performative and contagious. So what is the psychology of the perpetually angry fan? At the heart of this ecosystem is a type of individual who appears perpetually bitter. They criticise other fans, disrespect the manager, regardless of results, and find fault in every decision. Behaviour can be understood through several psychological lenses. The first, displaced frustration and identity investment. So for many fans, supporting Arsenal is not just a hobby, it's part of their identity. When the team fails, it feels like a personal failure. And if you add to that the frustration that many experience from real life, dead-end jobs, social struggles, economic hardship, football becomes a lightning rod for displaced anger. The club becomes the one thing they should be able to count on. When it disappoints, that betrayal hits really deep. The second is tribalism and status hierarchies. So for many, angry fans are obsessed with being right. They cling to a specific opinion. Arteta is not good enough, or this player is overrated, and they build their identity around it. If the team does well, they're angry it didn't happen their way. If things go badly, they feel vindicated. In this tribal atmosphere, fans form cliques. So you get the Arteta in versus Arteta out, real fans versus plastic fans, legacy gooners versus new age content creators, mutants. You've heard all the terms. Criticising others becomes a way to climb the status ladder within their community. Then there's addiction to outrage. There's a neurochemical explanation. Anger activates the brain's reward system. It produces a hit of dopamine. In online spaces, this is reinforced by likes, shares and views. The more controversial the opinion, the more engagement it gets. Over time, some fans become addicted to outrage. They may not even know how to be hopeful anymore. Fourth, there's the confirmation bias and the echo chamber effect. Once a fan forms a bitter view of the club, they begin to see everything through that lens. If the team wins, it's lucky. If a particular player they don't like shines, they still don't have the mentality. This is classic confirmation bias. YouTube's algorithm amplifies this. It feeds people content that aligns with their views. So angry fans are constantly consuming more rage-inducing content, creating a self-sustaining echo chamber. So what do all these fans have in common? Not all angry fans are the same, but many share certain traits or experiences that shape their worldview. A sense of lost glory. Many grew up during the Invincibles era or were raised on stories of Arsenal's beautiful football and class. The last 15 or so years have not lived up to those standards. Bitterness is born from broken expectations. There's a lack of agency in their own lives. Psychologically, people who feel powerless in real life often latch on to tribal identities like football fandom to feel control and purpose. When they can't influence their real environment, they try to assert their dominance in an online one. Then there's personal insecurity. Some of the loudest critics mask their own self-doubt through mockery and confrontation. By tearing others down, especially fans with different views, they validate their own fragile sense of superiority. Then there's overexposure to social media. These fans are online all the time. They consume Arsenal content daily, sometimes hourly, and that constant drip of transfer rumours, injuries, rival banter, tactical debates keeps emotions running hot. There's no cool-down period. So how should we interact with them? Well, I'm not here to tell you what to do. If you want to have arguments and shout at each other, that's your prerogative. But one of the most important rules is don't feed the trolls. But don't dismiss everyone. Some fans are simply trying to provoke a reaction. Others are genuinely hurting. It's worth distinguishing between the two. Ask clarifying questions. What would you have done differently? Or how would you judge this if we win the next 3 games? You might find there's nuance behind the noise. Then use empathy, not sarcasm. Mockery makes people dig in deeper. Try responding with empathy. I get why you're frustrated. It's been a long few seasons. This can often disarm the defensiveness and sometimes lead to more open dialogue. Don't try to win, try to understand. You're unlikely to win an argument on YouTube. Instead of debating to dominate, debate to understand. Ask yourself, why is this person so emotionally invested in being right? And avoid the rage cycle. Don't fall into the trap of constantly replying to negativity. If a creator or commentator is always angry, maybe mute or unsubscribe. Not every voice needs a platform in your head. Can these people change? This reminds me of a joke about the psychologists and the light bulb. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? 1, but the light bulb has to want to change. People can change, but they have to want to. Change begins with self-awareness. If a person realises that their constant anger is making them miserable, isolating them from other fans, or distorting their relationship with the club, they can change. But for many, that rage becomes part of their identity. Change often happens slowly, through one of 3 paths. We could go on a massively successful run on the pitch. Winning does cure many things. When the team starts performing consistently, even the bitter fans sometimes soften, but others move the goalposts or create new targets of rage. We need more positive role models in the community. Creators who are balanced, nuanced, passionate without being toxic can shift the tone. When positivity becomes popular, people adjust to fit in. Personal growth. Sometimes personal circumstances change and a fan gets a new job, enters a stable relationship, or just matures with age. Their outlook softens, they become less reactive and more reflective. So in conclusion, a mirror to ourselves. The anger in the Arsenal YouTube community isn't just about football. It's a reflection of deeper human struggles, the need for control, identity, belonging and expression. Arsenal, like many big clubs, gives people something to believe in. But when belief turns to entitlement and disappointment festers, bitterness can bloom. Understanding the psychology of the angry fan doesn't mean excusing toxicity, but it does mean engaging with more clarity and compassion. Arsenal fans at their best are united by love for the club. But love without hope turns into resentment, and in a digital world where outrage sells, it's easy to forget what brought us here in the first place. Joy, pride and connection. If more fans and creators choose honesty over hostility, curiosity over contempt, and debate over division, the Arsenal YouTube community can evolve. Until then, the rage will keep raging, but at least now we understand it a little bit better, hopefully. If you've enjoyed this content, then come on, click like. Leave all your comments. And until I see you again, be lucky. Lots of love.